Meghan Markle did take the dress. She's admitted it in another PR catastrophe for the Duchess of Delusion. Now, you know that I've been following this story long before the mainstream media has, but I'll tell you how it's exploded.
So here we go again. Meghan Markle has wandered into yet another PR disaster, and this time it's over a dress. Not a tiara, not a lawsuit, not a Netflix meltdown, a dress. A literal $1,700 green dress from a 2022 variety shoot. And if you're thinking, no way is this a big deal, trust me, it has somehow become the loudest royal-adjacent drama of the week.
In Meghan's face over the past 24 hours. So the New York Post followed up what we had already covered in the independent media. With this post, did Meghan Markle say yes to an allegedly stolen dress? So they used the word stolen. Then they rode back a little bit, clearly petrified by her behind-the-scenes threats, with a new headline claiming that Meghan Markle may have taken home items from high-profile variety photo shoot. This, of course, followed loads of claims from a whole range of journalists about her so-called sticky fingers when it comes to taking items, high-priced items, after fashion shoots. So, overnight, we finally get the response. From People magazine, of course, Meghan Markle's spokesperson reacts to claims she took $1,700 dress from Photoshoot. And oh my God, her explanation for this is completely batshit bonkers. So I'm going to take you through it all today. I'm going to play you the original claim that sparked all of this. And of course, we'll get reaction from royal YouTube sensation P. Diner. But first, let's get to Tom Sykes reporting. He writes, the bizarre new reason Meghan says she kept that $1,700 dress. And he posted on the Royalist Substack, the Duchess of Sussex team have angrily denied a story that she stole clothes from a fashion shoot. However, they appear to have inadvertently confirmed in the process that Meghan does take fashion freebies. Yep, we knew. In contrast to the working royal family who say they never accept them. Sources told the Royalist that not being allowed to keep free clothes has been cited as an irritation for Meghan when she was a working royal. In the kind of utterly bizarro coda to the story we have come to expect from Meghan's camp, sources justified her keeping the green gown from a 2022 variety shoot by suggesting she did so to prevent insiders on the shoot from illicitly selling it on resale channels to memorabilia hunters. Yes, seriously. They said this was standard practice, a claim derided by fashion insiders the Royalists spoke to. In a rare on-the-record statement, Meghan's spokesperson flat out denied a report on page 6 that she kept an emerald green Galvan Usheya dress worth $1,700. That's all it was worth. Meghan, get out the checkbook from the shoot without asking. The green dress subsequently appeared in a trailer for her forthcoming Netflix holiday special, which is when we worked this all out. The spokesperson told the Royalists that the page 6 story was defamatory and hinted at possible legal action after a fashion source alleged Meghan had taken the dress without permission. The insinuation, this is the on-the-record quote from Meghan, the insinuation that any items were taken without the full knowledge and agreement of the on-set stylists or their respective teams is not only categorically false, but also highly defamatory. Any items kept were done so in total transparency and in accordance with contractual arrangements. So there we have it, the admittance. She did keep the dress. However, Tom Sykes goes on. In a follow-up that raised eyebrows even further, a source close to Meghan justified her keeping the dress by saying she had done so to prevent it from being sold in an unauthorized auction because she had once worn it. The source claimed it was standard practice for celebrities to keep select items to prevent this, describing the practice as both commonplace and prudent.
It all started when the New York Post basically asked the question, did Meghan Markle say yes to a stolen dress? Boom. Headlines everywhere. Social media frothing. Royal commentators warming up their vocal cords. But almost as quickly as a post threw out the word stolen, they seemed to retreat, likely out of fear that Meghan's lawyers were already halfway through drafting a cease and desist. The headline was softened to may have taken home items, but by then, the wildfire was already raging. Pretty simple. The Meghan Markle brand is struggling, badly. This dress saga shouldn't be a story, but her team mishandled it so spectacularly that it blew up into one. Her alternative would have been, I love the dress so I bought it. End. No legal threats. No bizarre justification. No accusation that stylists sell used clothing.
And here's where things get really grim. They even suggested this had been an issue for members of the royal family in the past. Although in 2 decades of royal reporting, the royalists can count on 0 fingers the number of stories I have written about royal clothing stained with regal sweat being illicitly resold online at bumper markups. I checked with multiple fashion sources, photographers, stylists, editors, and nobody had ever heard this excuse before. One said, she seems to be implying the stylist would steal and hawk the piece for a premium on eBay, or is she implying the designer would? Another put it succinctly, insane. Another, absolutely hilarious. A stylist who has worked with the royal family told me it's pretty clear she just wanted the dress and kept it. I'm sure the designer agreed. How could they not? What's interesting is she doesn't say she paid for it. From that, I think we can assume she didn't. That's the defense Catherine always has. Everything is paid for. Now, in October, Tom Sykes goes on, Meghan was spotted in a black and white tweed strapless Chanel midi dress during a date night with Prince Harry at a restaurant in New York City. She had previously worn the same piece for a 2022 photo shoot for The Cut. And of course, then we come to the claim from Vanessa Grigor-Adis, the journalist who had previously told Andrew Gold on the Heretics podcast that Meghan took a lot of stuff after a high-profile photo shoot, and asked, what's shocking about hearing these kinds of alleged stories is that somebody living in a $15 million plus mansion in Montecito who's had $100 million deals would care enough to take home some jewelry and clothes from a photo shoot that she can afford. Here is that clip in question, which, by the way, I have to say, has now been deleted from the internet. Not here, though. Listen.
No dragging the royal family into it. Instead, we got the exact opposite. And when you weave in the failed turkey, the dying Netflix partnership, the lack of public enthusiasm, the constant PR misfires, it paints a picture of someone who still hasn't learned how to handle fame without chaos.
Tom Bauer reported that at a Reitman's shoot, Meghan was doing the shoot and everything was fine. At the photo shoots, the celebrities or the important person is never supposed to take the clothes that they're actually wearing in the shoot home, right? Those clothes are being lent by top designers of the world, perhaps jewelry. Jewelry is incredibly expensive, right? The kind of jewelry that celebrities wear on the red carpet is, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And he reported that Meghan, at the end of that shoot, the crew that was there was sort of surprised because she had some high-heeled shoes on that no longer seemed to be in the room for the shoot, right? Like generally what happens in one of these photo shoots is the stylist brings all sorts of options, like, 20 different pairs of shoes, and they put them all on a table, on like just a regular sort of picnic style table. They put all the jewelry out, not the really, really expensive, but if you're wearing some costume stuff, and the handbags, maybe they've got 10 different handbags, 10 different dresses are hung up in little racks, and the handbags are all displayed on these picnic table style, tables. And then at the end of the shoot, everything is supposed to be returned because then it's all packaged up and it's messengered back to the designers, right? And he reported that at this shoot, a pair of shoes did not return. And I have since heard in a more recent photo shoot of Meghan's, there was also a lot of stuff that was not returned after Meghan wore it in a very high profile photo shoot.
So, P. Diner, there have now been multiple reports about Meghan taking this high-priced designer clothing, maybe with permission, but certainly not paying for it. Multiple reports. And she's doubled down with this threat against the New York Post, which actually I think confirms the story because she's admitting she did take the dress, isn't she?
Absolutely. And I think when you look at Megan's history and how she has just shown herself in general around products, clothing that is gifted or given to her to use, she's not very transparent with it. I think she has this entitlement complex. No, I think she does. She absolutely does have this entitlement complex where she feels that she can just take it because it was used for her. She can just now have it because we have to remember when she was in the royal family and how she had the most expensive clothing that was used for Meghan that she got through the royal family was astronomical. She spent so much money on clothing, more than any other royal. This was back in, I think, 2018. So Meghan has this, I think, mindset that she can take things because she has elevated her mind where she feels that she deserves it and she can just take it and not have to show any accountability for it. And it's embarrassing, that you are now having these speaking points around you and merchandise and clothing that you have stolen it. I mean, what kind of person even has that attached to them if there wasn't something there already? This is absolutely down Megan's road of what she does. We see that this is her MO. It's embarrassing that she has even people talking about her even doing this, but we know it's something that she would do. Absolutely.
And Dinah, I mean, once again, a PR 101 fail, but I think it's a fail because she can't actually say it, given it's not true. Because surely the very obvious statement to make here would have been, I bought the dress. I like the dress. I
Mm-hmm.
paid for the dress. The dress is now my dress.
Mm-hmm.
But this is not a woman who ever puts into her pocket. This is a woman who we hear all the time takes on new friendships so she can get a free mansion or a free trip on a private jet. But the point is,
Yeah.
there was a very simple way to deal with this. I paid for the dress. And that was not said. So yes, there was the legal threat, but she never actually said I paid for the dress. She admitted
Right.
taking the dress.
Mm-hmm. And that's what happens usually, I think, with Megan. You get all these explanations and excuses. They try to worm their way out of, what was said, what was meant, what they thought. It's never just a clear cut to through the chase of what it actually was. And the fact that she didn't just say that she paid for it explains that, yeah, there was some shady business behind this dress. Are you kidding me? It it just shows how she tries to worm her way out of situations rather than being very clear and transparent about what actually happened. But we know it didn't really happen where she paid for it.
No, because she could have just said. And then the other thing, which is, of course, completely disgusting, P. Dinah, but we've come to expect it, every opportunity to try and throw the British royal family under the bus. No, this has not happened in decades in the royal family. None of the items are being hawked on websites. None of the items are being given for free. The royal family pay for their clothes from trusted designers. And by the way, tend to wear them over and over again. Beloved pieces.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. It's not like this is the Monica Lewinsky dress, where there's trying to keep it for, keepsakes that could be worth some money later. No, no one's trying to sell your sweat stains, Megan. Okay, that's ridiculous. This woman, I'm telling you, Dan, I've always said it, She has brought a level of ghetto into the royal family. This is so cringe that we're even talking about this. It's like Meghan has lived up to all the things that people have said about her. And, if Meghan were really this authentic person who really bought the dress, we would not be hearing these kinds of stories. But there is always some kind of there with Meghan and these talking points because that's just up her alley. These are the things that she would do, and it's been proven time and time again. Like what they say, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. We believe this story because we know this is what happened.
This wasn't a scandal about a dress. It was a scandal about credibility. Meghan's critics say she's entitled, inconsistent, evasive, and always spinning. And this saga, whether you love her or can't stand her, undeniably helped that narrative along. All she had to do was say she paid for the dress. But she didn't. And that silence said more than any spokesperson ever could. Let me know what you think about this video in the comment section. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of my future uploads. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments.